I'm going to answer a couple of questions that I get on the wide format calculator, particularly in terms of calculating your hourly rate, which again is one of the most important things you can do to determine your pricing, calculating your hourly rate. And the two questions that I want to answer real quick are how to figure out an owner's salary if you're not paying yourself kind of a regular salary already that supports your family and your needs. And then how to handle 1099 people or independent contractors, people who you pay to come in, do a job, and then like you won't pay them again until they come in to do the next job. Those are the two topics I'm going to cover real quick. First, let's start with owner salary. Your owner salary should be calculated as what it would cost to replace you. So if you're a passive owner, if you live in another state and you've got a team running your sign shop, then your owner salary is basically zero and you're paid out of profit if you choose, right? On the other end of the spectrum, if you're working 80 hours a week, you're the first person there, last person to leave, then the cost to replace you would be very high. And so that should reflect in the owner's salary. So in order to calculate that, you should go on to something like Indeed or Glassdoor and try and calculate what it would cost to replace somebody doing the things that you're doing. Chances are, if you're working full-time, this is somewhere between $45,000 a year, as of 2024 a year. This is something between $45,000 a year, maybe on the upper end, $150,000, $180,000 a year. So it could be quite a bit depending on the size of your company and what you're doing. But my guess is that if you're kind of in these beginning stages and calculating shop rates and things like that, the majority of you watching this video are not actually paying yourselves a salary. You're doing what I did for the first 10, 12 years in business. And that's you just kind of pay yourself as much as you can. Maybe you set a really low base salary. And then you take a little bit of profit every month if there's something left over, and some months there isn't. I totally get it. I was there and I might be back there someday if, business doesn't go well, but this really should be a number that would be the equivalent of a replacement of taking you out of the day-to-day operations of the business. If you have more questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll try and answer them. And then in terms of 1099, independent contractors, things like that, that is not the same as a part-time employee, which I have here and I talked about in a previous video. A part-time employee is somebody who you've committed hours to, right? It might not be 40 hours a week. They may not get any benefits, but you've committed to having X number of hours on average per week for them. Whereas an independent contractor, let's say it's a graphic designer that you just hire per job. You give them $100 to do a sign design for you each time or a flyer design or something like that. I'd put those into like accessory charges or something like that because they're not part of your monthly cost. And so your markup on those things might be different. Your markup on installers might be different. All the shop rates basically are for your employees, the people who you've committed to keeping busy essentially throughout the month. And so independent contractors, if you didn't have any sales coming in for that month, then you wouldn't hire your independent contractors. You wouldn't pay them anything to do the work. Yet you might go several weeks keeping your employees on payroll, even though you're not producing anything. And so that's kind of where I draw the line between, does it go into the shop rate or is it more of a, for lack of a better way to put it, it's independent contractors are almost on par with accessories or material, because you're going to take a fixed cost that they're going to give you to do a job, and then you're going to mark it up double, triple, whatever it is, and then you're going to pass that along to your client with that profit markup. So hopefully that answers your questions. If not, please leave comments below and I'll try and get to them. Really appreciate it. Thanks.